On my way home, I happened to spot a tiny puppy curled up in the snow. I heard a faint whimper and walked closer. It was so small, trembling all over, as if it was about to freeze to death. Snow covered its little body, and its eyes hadn't even opened yet. It must have been only a few days old. The temperature was below 10 degrees Celsius, freezing cold. I quickly took off my wool hat and gently placed the puppy inside to keep it warm. Nearby, I noticed small paw prints and a frozen puddle. It must have been abandoned. A passerby glanced over and said, "It's too small to survive." But I couldn't leave it there. I decided to take it home. As soon as I set it down, it barely moved. My heart dropped. I thought it was dying. I hurried to grab a hot water bag, placed it beside the puppy, and wrapped it in Domi's blanket, my older dog's. After a while, the tiny body started to stir again. It was the first time I'd ever seen a creature so small, probably only a few days old. To keep it alive, I had to race against time. I rushed into town to buy some powdered sheep milk. When I came back, it lay still again, and I panicked until I realized it was just sleeping. I gently fed it milk with a syringe, drop by drop. Each small swallow made me feel relieved. Then I noticed its tail had been frostbitten. After drinking, the puppy fell asleep once more. I didn't know how to raise something so fragile, so I held it close, keeping it beside me through the night. In the middle of the night, it woke me up with tiny cries. I got up and made more milk. Once it finished drinking, it quieted down and fell back asleep peacefully. Looking at that tiny face, I felt both warmth and sadness. I didn't know why it sometimes cried in its sleep. Maybe it was dreaming, or maybe it hurt. All I knew was that it was still so small, and I only hoped for one thing, that this little puppy would survive. Yesterday, I rescued a tiny puppy from the freezing road. That night, after bringing it home, it wouldn't stop crying. I stayed awake almost the whole night, worried and helpless. It had been warmed and fed, yet it kept whimpering in pain. The next morning, after carefully observing it, I finally discovered the reason. Its belly was full of parasites. I realized this when I saw small worms coming out in its stool. It broke my heart, such a tiny creature, yet suffering from so much pain inside. But I couldn't give up. I decided to take it to a veterinary clinic in the city, even though it was a long, cold trip. On the way there, it kept whimpering weakly from stomach pain. When we arrived, the vet examined it and confirmed my fear. Its stomach was filled with parasites, a very serious condition. If you had brought it any later, it might not have survived, the vet said. I felt chills down my spine. Thank goodness I found it in time. The vet immediately gave it deworming medicine and explained how to care for it. Keep it warm, feed it regularly, and monitor its stool each day. I went to the supermarket, bought a small cage, and lined it with old clothes to make a soft, warm bed. As soon as I placed it inside, the puppy fell asleep instantly. The medicine must have started working. I sat beside it, quietly watching every tiny breath it took. After a while, it woke up and let out a few soft cries. I quickly made some milk and fed it drop by drop with a syringe. The vet had told me to feed it every 3 hours to help it regain strength. After finishing, it fell asleep again, its little paws twitching slightly, but its face looked calmer. I could only hope the medicine would work, that its fragile body would fight off the pain, and that it would soon recover, free from the torment of parasites. Afraid it might get cold, I placed its cage inside Domi's kennel so it could feel safer. Seeing the two of them lying close together warmed my heart. Every 3 hours, I got up again to feed it, watching carefully for any change in its breathing. That night, I didn't need words, just the steady rhythm of its breath was enough to remind me. This tiny puppy was still fighting to live. I found this little puppy on my way home. Afraid it would freeze to death, so I took it in. That first night, I barely slept. It kept crying softly, a weak and heartbreaking sound. After discovering the cause, a stomach full of parasites, I took it to the vet for deworming. After the treatment, it finally stopped crying and seemed to feel much better. Still, the doctor warned that there were probably some eggs left inside, so I had to watch over it closely for the next few days. From that moment, it started to grow attached to me. Whenever I came near, It would crawl toward me, pawing at my leg as if asking to be held. It felt like it had begun to see me as its mother. I tried to feed it milk regularly, but the new baby bottle I bought had a nipple that was too hard, and it couldn't drink properly. Some kind people online suggested I use a small straw instead. I tried it, and it worked. After drinking, it lay down in the sunlight for a while and fell fast asleep. Every 3 hours, I got up to feed it, day and night, without fail. Finally, after several days, it managed to poop normally. The stool was dry, no more worms. I was so relieved I nearly cried. Its condition improved day by day. It began to eat and sleep well. When it woke up, it licked my hand or gently nibbled my fingers, so tiny, yet so full of life. At night, it still cried occasionally, so I would get up again to make warm milk. After feeding, it would lie quietly and drift back to sleep. I wrapped it in a blanket to keep it warm. I didn't let it sleep with Domi, my older dog, for fear of spreading infection. Instead, it slept in its own small bed. Every night, I woke up several times to feed it, clean up after it, and make sure it was breathing steadily. The exhaustion started to catch up with me, but every time I saw it getting stronger, its eyes brighter, its movements livelier, I felt that all the effort was worth it. Such a tiny creature, yet it fought so bravely to live. I gently whispered, "Hang in there, little one. Everyone's rooting for you." I still remember the day I rescued that tiny puppy from the freezing snow. After I posted the video about its parasite problem, many people online started giving me advice. Some even told me that I should also take deworming medicine myself, since I handled the puppy every day and might get infected. I laughed at first. It's a dog, and I'm human. I should be fine, I thought. But when more and more people reminded me, I started to worry. If something happened to me, who would take care of these 2 little dogs? So, I took their advice and bought some deworming medicine for myself. Being a dad means you can't afford to get sick because someone small is depending on you. After the puppy was dewormed, it became full of energy again. It started running around the house, even bullying Domi, my older dog. It ate a lot, peed everywhere, and marked every corner of the room. I could barely keep up with the cleaning. Whenever I took it outside for a walk, it would sneak off to steal Domi's food the moment I looked away. Such a greedy, mischievous little thing. To teach it some discipline, I decided to keep it in the cage for a while. But as soon as I closed the door, it began whining with those pleading eyes that melted my heart. I couldn't resist. I picked it up to comfort it. And the next thing I knew, it ran straight back into my room to pee again. Many people online asked me what breed it was. Honestly, after observing it for days, I still couldn't tell. Its eyes were a pale blue, giving it an odd but adorable look, like a little alien dog from another planet. Thanks to regular hand feeding and care, it was growing quickly. It had started to see me as its parent. Every time I put it in the cage, it cried until I took it out again. Once released, it would climb right onto my chest and fall asleep. Now, it refuses to sleep unless I'm holding it. One night, around 3 a.m., I woke up and noticed it was still fast asleep, breathing softly, face calm and peaceful. I carefully placed it back into its cage, but just as I turned away, it woke up and reached out its tiny paws toward me. I sighed, smiled, and said softly, "All right, come here. Let's sleep together, little one." It nestled against my chest and fell asleep again, warm, quiet, and trusting. And I realized that the puppy I once only wanted to save from the cold had now truly become my child. This morning, I noticed a few worms again in the puppy stool. My heart sank. I thought the deworming had already worked. Maybe the medicine hadn't cleared everything out? Without hesitation, I packed up and took him back to the vet for another checkup. It's been more than 10 days since I first brought him home. He's grown a lot, his fur is glossier, and and his eyes shine brighter now. Lately, he doesn't seem full from just goat milk, so I thought it might be time to introduce him to puppy food. I placed him in an old backpack I used as a kid. It fit him perfectly. As soon as we got in the car, he started whining again. I had to hold him close to calm him down. Once in my arms, he became quiet, like a baby who just wants to be hugged. At the clinic, the vet said, "There are still some parasite eggs left. The first round didn't clear everything. You should deworm him again in about 10 days." I felt relieved. At least it wasn't too serious. On the way home, I stopped to buy some puppy food. But before we even got inside, he had already peed on my shirt. I could only laugh. He really was just a baby. Back home, I soaked the dry food in warm goat milk and let him try it. The moment he smelled it, his little tail wagged excitedly. Within seconds, the bowl was empty. Watching him eat so fast, I couldn't help but laugh. You little rice bucket. More than 10 days have passed, yet I still can't figure out what breed he is. He may be small, but is strong-willed, playful, and incredibly clever. Many people online asked me, what kind of dog is he? But honestly, I still don't know. A lot of viewers also started suggesting names in the comments. Some wanted me to name him after his white fur. Others said I should pick something related to the snowy day I found him. In my next video, I joked, "He's a little white boy. If you have any good name ideas, leave them in the comments. I'll pick the best one for him." As I said that, I looked down at him, the tiny puppy curled up in my lap, his eyes sparkling as if he understood everything. Maybe the name I choose for him will be the very first gift I ever give to this little soul. I still remember the day I picked up that little puppy, and even now, he still doesn't have a name. In the last video, I asked everyone online to help me choose one for him. When I opened the comments, I couldn't help but laugh. Some people suggested fierce names like Wolf or Tiger, while others came up with cute or funny ones like Scar or Little Dumpling. But the name that appeared most often was Xiao Bai, meaning little white, simple and fitting for his soft white fur. Still, I wanted something more unique, something that truly matched his story, because this puppy isn't ordinary. The little one who once couldn't even crawl is now growing so fast. He runs like the wind, eats like a tiny machine, and never seems to run out of energy. Today, I took him for his very first vaccination. He trembled a little, eyes wide with worry, like a child on his first day of school. I gently patted his back and whispered, "It's okay, little one. Just a tiny pinch, you'll be fine." When the vet gave the shot, he only flinched slightly, such a brave boy. Afterward, I bought him some snacks and puppy food. Now, my second little son, at home, has officially completed his first vaccination and become a healthy puppy. On the way back, he sat quietly in my lap, gazing out the car window with sparkling eyes, curious about the big world waiting for him. I smiled and said softly, "You've grown so much already. It's time to give you a name, isn't it?" That night, I went through the comments again. Some people suggested the name Lado, cute, yet full of energy. Others wrote, "Any name is fine, as long as he's happy." Reading all those warm messages made me smile. Maybe I'll choose one of those names, something beautiful, something that carries the story of his survival. And when that name is finally chosen and spoken out loud, it will mark the moment this little puppy truly begins his new life. A life filled with love, warmth, and a family that's finally his. Today, I finally decided to give my puppy an official name. Honestly, naming such a tiny life wasn't easy. I thought I had rescued a gentle little dog, but it turned out I'd brought home a feisty little wild one. Despite his small size, he's incredibly bold. He's always picking fights with Domi, the big dog in our house. Domi is several times his size, yet this little one shows no fear at all. Every time he loses, he runs straight into my arms, hiding his face as if to complain to Dad. People usually say, the big bullies the small. But in my house, it's the opposite. The small bullies the big. Whenever I'm around, he becomes even braver, as if he's saying, "With Dad here, I fear nothing." I couldn't help but laugh. Being his dad wasn't easy. I had to comfort one and mediate the other. All day long. After reading through thousands of comments online, I chose 8 of the most popular name suggestions and decided to let him pick his own. I placed pieces of paper with each name on the floor and called him over. He sniffed around, circled a few times, then stopped in front of one. On that paper was written, Little Leopard. I smiled and said softly, "All right then, you've made your choice. From now on, your name is Shen Xiaobao, Little Leopard." The name fit him perfectly, full of energy, wildness, and spirit. He moves with the speed of a leopard, and his eyes shine with that same fierce determination. I stroked his head and whispered, "Little Leopard, this name was meant for you." From that day on, Shen Xiaobao officially became the youngest member of our family, a strong, clever, and spirited little dog, carrying within him a story of survival in the snow and the warmth of unconditional love. Lately, I started noticing strange piles of poop and puddles of pee appearing all around the house. At first, I couldn't tell who the culprit was, the little puppy or Domi, the older dog. Frustrated, I decided to confine both of them in their cages for observation. But somehow, the mess kept showing up. So, I bought a small camera and set it up to find out the truth. That night, when I reviewed the footage, I saw Domi sneaking out quietly, wandering around the house, and peeing everywhere. Turns out, it was Domi marking his territory. But just when I thought I had solved the case, the little puppy managed to escape from his cage and joined the crime scene. Happily peeing in random spots too. Domi was marking the house, and the puppy, still untrained, simply followed along. The next morning, the entire room smelled awful. I spent hours cleaning, washing blankets, changing pee pads, mopping the floor, completely exhausted. I realized this wasn't just about cleaning anymore. It was about training and routine. I needed to teach both of them where and when to go, set boundaries, and be patient. In the end, the culprits were clear: Domi, with his marking habit, and the little puppy, who hadn't yet learned proper toilet manners. My next plan: set up more cameras if needed. Use training pads temporarily. Keep a consistent feeding and potty schedule. And, above all, stay calm and patient while teaching my 2 troublemakers. The bathroom problem with my second son was getting out of hand. I had tried using pee pads, but it didn't work. Every time I went to sleep, he somehow escaped from his cage and wandered around the house, leaving his marks everywhere. So, I decided it was time to train him properly. I even came up with an idea: let Domi, the older sister, show him how it's done. But things didn't go as planned. Domi couldn't care less, and Little Leopard treated the whole thing like a game. I told Domi, "Come on, you have to teach your little brother, or we'll be cleaning forever." But she just gave me a look and walked away. So I, the exhausted but determined dad, had to step in myself. I guided Little Leopard to the right spot, let him sniff around, and praised him whenever he did well. But a few minutes later, he ran off and peed right on my hand. It didn't stop there. He went all over the kitchen, the living room, even in the exact spot I had just cleaned. In 1 hour, he managed to pee 6 times. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Domi sat calmly watching, while I nearly lost my mind. Every time I finished cleaning one mess, another one appeared behind me. Finally, I had to admit the truth. This was part of growing up, like a child learning to walk. It would take patience, repetition, and time. I bought more training pads, set a consistent feeding and potty schedule, and started taking him out regularly. It's tiring, yes, but every time. Little Leopard looks up at me with those innocent eyes after doing something right. I can't stay mad. Maybe this is what every dog dad goes through: exhaustion, chaos, and frustration, but also laughter, warmth, and love.